Hi again, this is part 2 of the video series about narcissistic psychopathic power projection, and I forgot one important aspect, therefore this is part 2. In the first video we were speaking about the different emotional or psychic metabolism of narcissist and psychopath, meaning they are different in the internal architecture of the psyche, obviously. And this is the reason for the different metabolism. So the substitute for natural bliss, happiness, is elation. And we were speaking about the substitute of intimacy with complicity. We see this in the Epstein case, for example. Elite's in-group is created by through complicity, by transgressing together, breaking taboos together, and therefore being hell-bent to now be an in-group that is coordinated and different to the out-group. So if you want to check this out, you need to watch part 1 about this topic. And what I forgot to speak about is elite education versus normal education, which will guide us to the way psychopaths interact in the world in comparison to healthy, normal people. And elite education versus normal education is in a way that in normal education we learn inside the moral system, we learn we learn facts. That what we call facts is actually just placeholders for future insights that might be different, better, or different value judgments simply. We also learn what is morally right, what is good, and we learn what is bad and evil. So we learn a framework of which within it is agreeable to act. And we learn a framework that we will never leave. We will always stay within this socially engineered framework of what is good and what is evil. We're not even thinking about something beyond that, all right? And we also maintain order by kind of policing on each other. This is another goal of social engineering. It is to keep us functioning and creating a stable system. This is society. Elites learn how this social engineering works. They do not learn what is right or wrong. They learn how to frame things, how to make things right and wrong, how to change this, and how to make people internalize a certain moral alignment or idea or spirit. In other words, they learn manipulating the whole reality of what we live in. This is social engineering, okay? And this should only be open, and this should be learned only by very stable and responsible people. The problem is that this knowledge often corrupts and is abused for selfish goals and not for the best of mankind. And this leads us to the psychopathic perception of the world. The psychopath naturally learns in the same way that elite education works, because they do not have a theory of mind, a system of how they think other people work based on their self-experience. They have a different self-experience. They are emotionally detached. They have no emotional empathy. they study other people, and based on how they learn how other people work, they create their own persona. That's what they show to the outside. Based on how they learn, they study their prey, right? They study their prey. And this way they learn, they do not learn for them, the emotional part that is very important for culture and social functioning and cohesion, the system. This part for them is two-dimensional, not three-dimensional. So for us, for healthy human beings, the emotional world is three-dimensional. It's something that is very important and internalized in some way. For the psychopath, it's just one more information. It's just an information that you can learn. And this way they are so utilitarian, Machiavellian, and instrumentalized people, because the dimension of emotion is something they have learned, they observe, but it's not something that has a kind of equivalent within them and importance. So something like that. So therefore they naturally learn how to engineer situations, how to engineer outcomes, goal-oriented outcomes. It's like what elite education brings to people is, for a psychopath, the natural way they learn things. Without moral, without emotional depth. Just information, just outcomes, just reactions. And this is how are people engineered. All right? And this leads to how they behave and how they interact with people. A person is an instrument or an obstacle. Either it brings you closer to your goal, or it is an obstacle on your goal, and you adjust yourself on the fly to get the output that you want. And this is a very good preparation for what artificial intelligence will lead us to. Because this is artificial intelligence, this is alien intelligence. It is an intelligence that studies you, on the fly adjusts, and tries to get an outcome. It's not an authentic person with a continuous self, with continuously the same moral rules that kind of create character and consistency in their behavior. It's not there. This is not there. Morality is a tool that is adjusted and switched based on the hidden goal and agenda of the psychopath. This is why they shift narration, why they shift morality, why they shift faces. It's because your reaction might not be what they wanted, and then they have to adjust. You might realize in these people, sometimes when the masks slip, you see a fear in their eyes. The underlying condition of psychopathy is fear, against common belief that we thought they are bold and don't feel fear. No, it is fear, and the compensation is this display of being bold and perfect. And the fear is to be seen as what they are, or to be confronted themselves with what they are, the inner emptiness, the program that always tries to convince everybody that they are, just one of you. And what you also see is that they study your reactions from the corner of their eyes. In some way, they are fixated on your face, on your reactions. And when you when you do not let yourself be fooled for too long, for a long time, they kind of get angry and they try to get this output. They are used to get the right reaction. And when you do not give them this output, they get angry because you are now an obstacle. You're not functioning the way, you don't bring that result, right? They get angry. That's a psychopath. They are kind of trying to engineer the outcome. And to do this, they pretend and mimic to be another human being that tries to create a sense of being on your side. Or the strategies are infinite. They could try to show that they are on your side. They might argue what is the best for you. They try to convince you anyway, and they study you while they do it. They look at your reactions, okay? And they get excited when you're emotionally triggered. Like a hyena that smells blood, that licks blood, all right? It triggers them. They get excited when you're emotionally triggered or when they finally crack you, all right? And this is the thing that I missed in the first video to explain what for elites, let's say in elite universities, in maybe secret societies, maybe CIA agents, special agents, this is the knowledge they get. They get to know not what is right or wrong, because they should not be socially engineered to function. They are socially engineered to manipulate people and reality itself. And this is what psychopaths do. And they naturally learn this way because they study the world without emotional empathy, without the component of emotions. And when you tell them, oh, what you did created harm and trauma for those you love the most, who are around you, you should protect these people, but you create traumatic, difficult, terrible situations for them. And the psychopath will say, well, but it functions. I get my goals. I am successful in achieving my goals through this behavior. So I don't understand what is the problem here. And you say, all right, there is the emotional component. There is a human touch in human beings, right? Psychopath is, I don't know what you're talking about. It's about goals. It's about outcomes, right? And it shows the demonic quality of cause and why evil is evil, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hope I could help you to understand these dynamics better. This was just a missing part for the video in which we talk about narcissistic and psychopathic power projection. There was one more thing that we could talk about, but it's just a smaller, minor piece of the puzzle, and that is, we had the substitute for happiness is elation, sadistic or otherwise elation. The substitute for intimacy is complicity. The substitute for normal education and moral alignment, for emotional empathy, is kind of elite education, is how to manipulate the system, is instrumentalizing the system, is taking out the emotional part. And then we have another substitute, and the substitute for the normal day, for just a boring day, maybe being a little bit sad, maybe not everything is fine and exciting. So for a healthy, normal person, it's just another day. For them, the substitute for this is drama, all right? It's to create drama and in some way, therefore, get attention, become the covert narcissist will create drama so that the attention is about them and everybody is concerned about their well-being. And for the psychopath, there must be something going on, something interesting, something grandiose, something exciting, all right? So they can't stand this and they have to create something that entertains them, right? And it's most of the time drama. And this is why it's also called cluster B, is the erratic cluster, all right? The dramatic cluster. And Because of, by the way, the behavior of the psychopath when we talk about elite education and the manipulative side of them, that's why it's called antisocial, okay? Because of the lack of emotional empathy, the lack of emotional depth, and therefore being parasitic and predatory within social structures. That's all for now. Have a nice day. See you in the next video.